All right, it's 5:45 in the afternoon evening, and yeah, it's time to go to the Dragon, finally. Oh, good Lord, folks. All right, I'm about a third the way to Boise, Idaho from Auburn, Washington, which is where Torque is, which is where I spent the last couple days getting the car finished up. I know I didn't do much on the camera today, but I was a little flustered to get out of there. We got held up a little bit because we thought there was something wrong with the rear main seal. Turned out there was just a bunch of grease that had been flown out. It must have been in there from manufacturing. We scoped it. It looks good, so no concerns. About to get back on the road. I got about 50 minutes to an hour until I get to my next stop, which happens to be an E85 station. Oh! So I'll be able to do most of this trip on E85. There's a small stretch after Idaho, or I think during Idaho, where I won't be able to get E85. But I have a gas tune in the car. That'll do the trick. But for now, or at least for most of it, I should be able to make it without having to switch back to pump fuel, which is pretty rad. We changed the oil before I left. The oil that was in it didn't have much mileage on it, only like 1,000. But I wanted to see how far the oil dilution had gone. And surprisingly, not much at all. The last oil change before that, I gave it a little extra time. I went about 5,000 kilometers, and the oil had gotten a bit thin, so it definitely had diluted. But it wasn't bad after about 1,000, so I'm not really concerned. Oh! Folks, if you live in the southeast of Washington, you live in a really nice place. Reminds me of a place called Soyuz in BC, which is very much like the desert. One of my favorite terrains. I absolutely love that place. So you folks, you live in a rad place. I love it out here. Anyhow, so like I said, my final stop for the evening is going to be Boise, Idaho, and then crash out and start all over again tomorrow. All right, day 2. I'm in Boise. Leaving Boise, I'm heading down to Salt Lake City. And then from Salt Lake City, I'm gonna go through to Hays, Kansas, and I'll be stopping there for the evening. I haven't had a coffee yet, and it's like noon, which is criminal. So just went to visit a Fiat person who happened to be at the autocross today. So I had to convert over to my pump gas base tune last night. I'm in the stretch where E85 is not all that common. Fortunately, there's one place that has some E85 here in Boise, so I managed to get some E85, which means I can have a little bit of fun on my way out of this state. Today is day 4 of driving. I had setbacks the first 2 days. Day 1, we wanted to do the rear main seal in the car. Turns out it wasn't the rear main seal, it was just a bunch of grease on the inside of the transmission. But my good friend John decided he wanted to tune the car a little bit more. He managed to get a few more foot-pounds of torque out of it too, which is pretty rad. Day 2, Boise, Idaho. Great place. Went and met Andrea from the Fiat 500 group. I think I already told you folks about that. The holdup on day 2 was my wallet was stolen while at an autocross event. Not the end of the world, but it is what it is. After that, yesterday I made up some good ground, but you know, I'm still running behind. Today is day 4 after all, and I'm only about halfway there. So I'm gonna head out to Kansas now, but then I really gotta get back on the road if I'm gonna make it to the Dragon. I'm trying to get to Tennessee on the 4th. That way I have an extra day to do an oil change the coolant, also give the car a wash and a good polish. Not that it looks terrible right now. I've admittedly washed it this morning, but I couldn't stand driving the car quite that dirty. Anyhow, all right, I'm gonna get back on the road. Yeah. Oh, it's been an interesting day, but good Lord, this place is flat. Here, let me show you. Now that's flat. All right, time to get back on the road. Finally in Tennessee, and I'm super happy to be here. This place is absolutely gorgeous. It is so much warmer than it is in Vancouver. I can't stress that enough. It was a long drive. I think the last time I talked to you folks was probably 2 days ago on the camera. You're seeing this probably 3 minutes later. But oh my God, this place is so nice. This is a small window into what Brett has to do to make this event happen. Just for the record. He has a YouTube channel. If you guys want to take a look at it, you can take a look at the link. I'll leave it right here. He's going to drive the 124 and let us know what he thinks of it. I love letting other people drive my car. So, yeah, man, let's see what you think. Let's go for it. All right. I'm big now. Yeah, for sure. Oh, that's right. You live in New York, man. You can get us small spaces. So, yeah, I got the 1752 E85 injectors, downpipe. And then it's got XTA Coilovers. I love the coilovers. Yeah. It's like when you're shifting, you don't feel like the body roll, you know, from forward to back. Yeah, coilovers, man, springs are great. Like, they're good if you just want to get your car a bit of a drop, but if you're more serious, having coilovers, it's just that much better, man. I never had coilovers, but I think my next thing I want to do, I want to switch on my whole suspension to coilovers. These are just some of the windy roads around the Dragon. That's 247 wheel horsepower, 267 foot-pounds of torque. I can feel it. Oh, it's so good. Oh my God. Third gear is where you really start to notice a difference between a small, like a stock turbo 1.4, yeah, I can definitely, and a big turbo. It's massive difference. And this pulls a lot higher. Ooh, a little bit of pop. Oh yeah. This definitely pulls a lot harder in the upper RPMs as well. Like, yeah. It doesn't give out. No, not at all. It's the best part about getting the bigger turbo in the car. If you don't end up with a 124 yourself, man, you need to get a 1752. I'm telling you, about 1 year. Yeah? I'm definitely gonna have one of these. Do me a favor. Put a bigger turbo in it. Seriously. Let's just call it this way. Hey, you just turned the head. Dude, it happens. You just broke his neck. Here we go. She spun in second. Oh yeah. Dude, it's pretty good at spinning the tires. You were already moving and it still spun. Oh hell yeah. I felt that one. I felt that one. You know that it's got a bit of power when you can spin the rear wheels while you're moving. Second gear. That was awesome. That was phenomenal. That was amazing. I'm glad you liked it, man. Oh wow. Alright, brother. Thank you. No worries, man. Check out his channel. What is your channel called? Mikey Turbo. Check out Mikey Turbo. Like I said, link above his head. All right, later.